Okay, class, so we are going to go over Unit 5, Standard 2. Now, this talks about the I can statements. I can describe electric charge both quantitatively and in terms of atomic structure. So for here, we're going to need to know how charges interact and where charges come from. Now, all charges come from the atomic structure. Now, the atomic structure is essentially how all atoms are made up. Now, we know this. We know that all matter comes from atoms. Now, when we have an atomic structure, now I'm just going to draw the atomic structure here and how an atom looks like. An atom looks like this. It encompasses a nucleus. So inside, you have multiple of these nucleus subatomic particles. Now, with that, in each of these, now I'm going to color code them. So you have this black circle. Okay, now this could encompass multiple things. We're going to call these our protons. Okay, now also in the middle, in the nucleus, we could also have these white circles, and we're going to call those our neutrons. Okay, so the black circle here is a proton, it's a neutron, and then we're missing one more thing, which we're going to call the electrons. Now the electrons are orbiting the actual atom or the nucleus. Okay, so here you're going to have these electrons on the outside. These are your electrons. You know what? Let's make them different. So our electrons are going to be red. Okay, so outside of this ring, out here, you're going to have these electrons. Okay, good. So this is our electron here. And that's pretty much how the atomic structure occurs. Now, due to the fact that the electrons are outside in the outer ring, they're easy to move, right? Now, because they're easy to move, the electrons are what gains and lose charges. So that's how you can gain a charge. That's how you can lose a charge. So if you remember this particular simulation, I'm going to get to it. Okay, so this simulation here, remember? So here we had a simulation. Now, this is a balloon. It's a neutral balloon, right? There's the same amount of positive and negative charges. Now, when we get this balloon close to the wool sweater, it starts picking up these electrons. Now, it picks up these electrons because they're outside of that atom, right? They're not within the nucleus. So, right now we have a negatively charged balloon. If I let it go, it's going to get towards the actual positively charged sweater. So, what really occurred here, okay, what's really occurring, and I'm going to reset it so you guys can see it again. Okay, I get it close, I rub it on the wool sweater, and now I pick up all of these electrons. Now the balloon becomes negatively charged, the sweater is now positively charged. What occurred here was we gained electrons within the balloon and we lost electrons within the sweater. So the sweater became positively charged, the balloon became negatively charged. And that's truly what's occurring here. So if I go back to this, okay, gaining a charge. Okay, gaining a charge, what you really need to do is either you need to gain or lose electrons. Now, let's say I want to gain a positive charge. So how do I get a positive charge? Well, to get a positive charge, I need to lose electrons. Right? So the sweater had the electrons. When we took the electrons away with the balloon, the sweater became positive, the balloon became negative. So how do we become negative? Well, we need to gain electrons. Now, why can we not gain protons? Well, if we gain protons, we destabilize this atom. So this loses its stability, and we create another atom, and that's not what we want to do. It's a lot easier to get these little red particles here, these electrons. It's easier to get these than to actually move the protons in the center. So that's how you gain a charge. You gain by either you gain a positive charge by losing electrons. You gain a negative charge by gaining electrons. Good. Now, how do these charges interact? Now we saw this, right? In the simulation, you saw that a positive sweater and a negative balloon are going to attract. And that's just it. So if you have a positive sweater and a negative balloon, those are going to attract. Okay, if you have a negative and a negative, those are going to repel. Now let's say we have a positive and a positive. These will also repel. What about if we have a neutral object? Let's say it does not have a charge. So if it doesn't have a charge and it's next to something that doesn't have a charge, nothing will occur. Now, if we have a neutral object and a positive object, then we're going to get attraction. And same goes for a neutral object and a negative object. Those will attract. Okay, so that's pretty much it for here. So you have to know that in the center, in the nucleus, there's protons and neutrons, and surrounding them, those are the electrons. Now, in order to gain a negative charge, you have to gain electrons. In order to get a positive charge, you have to lose electrons. And then these are all the interactions. So a positive and negative will attract, a negative and negative will repel, positive, positive will repel, neutral, neutral, nothing will occur, neutral, positive, they will attract, neutral, negative, they will attract. Okay, so go ahead and answer these questions here. It's all theory. If you have any questions, call Mr. Farias over and be prepared for the exam tomorrow. Thank you.